A lot of people are saying, let us condemn Kagame. Let us continue to make him the devil. And we're saying we cannot do that, because ultimately, the biggest problem is not necessarily Kagame, neither is it Tshisekedi, neither is it the Congolese leaders. The problem is imperialism and colonialism that created borders that separated us,
so
and then we elevate it through our own tribalism. That's what we need to deal with.
So how are we going to resolve this?
We have to unite.
What is the lasting resolution to this?
The lasting resolution is, number one, we need to fight the super problem in Africa. We need to fight the enemy. The enemy will always be colonialism and imperialism that has got actors that are actually financing both sides. So people say Kagame is a Western puppet.
Yeah.
He is working for the United States. But you saw the Congolese were using mercenaries from NATO. They were using mercenaries from Romania. Romania is a NATO country, and these are soldiers that were
so
NATO
where is
soldiers.
African Union? Which is why we are asking now that where is the African Union in all this? But here's the interesting thing. South Africa then rushed to send its soldiers there. Kagame is not happy.
Not the Great Lakes, to the Eastern Congo, is that there's a problem in the Congo which has not been resolved up to today. I'm talking about the DRC. We're back to that NDR I was talking about. As you know, part of the population in the Eastern Congo is Rwanda-speaking, Banyamulenge. Part of the problem in the Congo is that from the days of Mobutu, they refused to recognize that the Banyamulenge are Congolese. They might be Rwanda speaking, but these are Congolese. And it's the responsibility of any government in Kinshasa to look after this section of the Congolese population like any other. But you remember what happened during the Mobutu years. Mobutu took the position that these are foreigners. It's like the South Africans here saying, I mean, they're Tswana-speaking people here in the Northwest. And suddenly the rest of the country says, those are not South Africans, they must go to Botswana. So what happened in the Congo case, that's how you had the Mai Mai emerge in the Eastern Congo. The Mai Mai were specifically targeting the Banyamulenge to drive them out of the Congo into Rwanda. But I'm saying it's the responsibility of the central government in the Congo to look after this population, which is Congolese. It's not Rwandan. It's Congolese. It's Rwandan speaking. That's the first problem.
And you said, why are the people in Goma happy to receive M23 rebels? That's what you spoke about, right? What really is happening? Would you like to tell us a bit more about that?
And it's interesting, and I need to put it here. I've also received a lot of criticism because I've been one of the biggest critics of Paul Kagame. And the question that many people have been asking is, why the change of sentiment on Paul Kagame by saying that M23 are actually not Rwandese and seeming like you are exonerating Paul Kagame? And this is what Africans have to understand. We've got to compartmentalize issues according to where they belong. So for instance, you can look at Paul Kagame when he was heading the Ministry of the Intelligence Department in Uganda. That is one phase. You can look at Paul Kagame when they were fighting for, the Tutsis were fighting to take over power from Habyarimana. That's another phase. You can look at the genocide and the contribution or thereof of Paul Kagame. That's another phase. Then you can look at the invasion of Congo with Laurent Kabila to remove Mobutu Sese Seko, who many Africans were happy when he was removed. Yeah. Paul Kagame played an important part there. That's another part. Then what we're talking about now is this part of M23, a group of Rwandans that are living inside Rwanda. They've been living there since time immemorial, and they were separated into Congo when there was a division of Africa through the Berlin Conference. And so this Berlin Conference that separated Africans, created little borders, created the nationalism that we heard the Madagascan gentleman saying he wants to break down this nationalism that is happening, is what is causing the problem. Because you've got these Banya Rwandans who are being told to go back to Rwanda by successive Congolese governments. And those Congolese governments have been denying them the right to be in parliament, to represent their region, so this Kivu region, and the right for them to take up public office, ministerial offices. That's what they are fighting for, their rights. And they used to be denied voting rights. They used to be denied the right to be in national dialogues. In 1991, they were also told by Mobutu Sese Seko to leave in 1996, which is part and parcel of why they joined Laurent Kabila, who was supported by Kagame, to march onto Kinshasa and take power and chase out Mobutu. And that is why this helping of the helping and assistance of Laurent Kabila by Kagame is why Kagame feels he also has a right to actually enter into the business of Congo in support of these M23 rebels, because within that region there's M23 rebels who are predominantly Tutsi that are also fighting the FDLR,
yes.
exactly, who are said to be Hutus and allegedly played a role in the genocide in Rwanda. But that is a complex issue, because there are also people who say no. Kagame himself played a very big role in the genocide to make it look like it was a Tutsi genocide. But these are all contested issues that lead to the problem. But the biggest problem here is if a government doesn't look after a part of its own citizens on a tribal basis, those tribal citizens, if they have got supporters outside the country or even non-supporters outside the country, non-tribal members or foreign agents, like the Americans, like the West, like the Chinese, they will get that assistance. You are opening up that room by discriminating them. So we're saying stop the tribal discrimination. And then let's stop the nationalism, because it is also the nationalism where right here we've got a Kagame trying very hard to, number one, ensure that his people, the class of people that are called Tutsis, they actually said not to be part of a tribe, but they're a class of people, want to maintain power, but they are a minority. And this minority of this upper class of cattle herders who are called Tutsis want to maintain power.
But was it not Kagame who said that, when he was speaking about making reference to the genocide, never again that there is no more a Hutu or a Tutsi in Rwanda? Everyone who is in Rwanda is Rwandese.
And he was saying that to try and break and dissolve the tribalism.
Over another.
Correct. But it is also superficial to do that, because there is a class system within Rwanda. They are cattle herders or people who've then ascended into becoming the business class, who are a separate upper class that are known as Tutsis. And when you look at the military, when you look at government offices, they are 13% of the population, but they are disproportionately much more than the Hutus, who are a majority. And what he was trying to do is get rid of this class system. He wanted to get rid of this tribal system, but the problem with it is they're still saying that there's a disproportionate distribution of resources. So the problem that is in Congo is also a problem in Rwanda itself, where some people who are the majority and call themselves, they call the Hutus, or a class of people rather than a tribe, are also saying we're disproportionately misrepresented within the system. Some people will say it is the system that allowed these upper class people to get the best education, they were the administrators, so therefore they will always occupy certain positions more than those that did not get as much education because of the class.
Yes.
It's all a very big problem.